taking the national junior team to see the harvesting and how the farm steelhead, the product, it will open their eyes to a product they may not even know about, but also for them to teach other culinarians coming up that there are products here in BC that we can use that are absolutely sustainable, healthy, and as far as we know, and hopefully we'll learn more, without hormones, antibiotics. It's a natural product.
It's about 20,000 in these because that represents 100,000 eggs coming in. So we have 4 groups basically in here right now. And then tomorrow, providing the things work out, eggs come in tomorrow, and that would be the next group. For this part of the whole facility, everything we do we have to generate here on site. Each of these tanks has 125 cubic meters of rearing capacity in them. One of those nets has 1,750. So it takes a lot of infrastructure to do it on land. But it's an essential part of what we do, so you have to do a portion of it this way in order to keep the tabs on these fish and to handle them like we do. So the fish come from about 5 grams from that building up here, and then they go into these tanks and we rear them up to about 20 grams to 25 grams, or about this size. And then at that point we vaccinate the fish. And when we give them a vaccine, you have to understand that it is a killed bacteria. It is not a drug. It is not antibiotics. So that pathogen goes into the fish as a dead bug, and the immune system recognizes that and it says, there's something in here I need to build antibodies for. So the natural body tendency is to build those immunities so that when the fish faces disease out in the lake, for example, it won't come down with it because it has a natural immune response for it.
So right now we're operating 2 sites of 4. So 2 sites on the outside are being fowled right now, and then we're operating from the 2 sites in the middle. The fowling, basically we're operating and we will run a cycle, a group of fish through, so it's typically 18 months for a group of fish to go through. So then once we start harvesting that group out, we'll finish that group off and then possibly switch to another site. Right now we have a couple of different trials going on with some feed. We have a trial with another feed company. Our main feed company is EWAS, and we have 2 different types of feed with that group. We have a Pacific diet and a nature diet, and the big difference between the nature and the Pacific is that the Pacific has a poultry meal in it, where the nature does not. So the nature diet has a higher fish meal content, but what we're looking at is to see if we have a better result, a lower FCR, which is our feed conversion ratio. So in doing that, if we can develop a lower FCR, then that means the less meal that we're taking from the wild sources. So that's what we're looking at with different feed trials. You know, we're always looking to see how we can develop our product, put out a quality product, but still use the resources as best we can.
Considered to be an ocean-wise fish? Or?
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the reasoning behind that? How did that work for you?
How did it come about?
Yes.
Well, just working through the aquarium, Vancouver Aquarium and such. Then it's working with Mike McDermott and coming out, working through the program of showing them our system and the lake system, the hatchery program, and that it is a sustainable product that they took us on board as an ocean-wise good product. So he's using a visual sight to just see how the fish are feeding. We also use cameras as well at times. So we can see, you know, if the feed, depending on the temperature of the lake, the fish may be feeding down low, so that's harder to see them. At that point, we can use the cameras and see what the fish are doing down below.
So do you guys use any antibiotics on the fish?
Since the start of the trout program, we have not used any antibiotics on these groups at all. We have no hormones. It's just a straight, streamlined diet that has a vitamin pack and no antibiotics at all.
And we're in the process of doing a couple of things to see what kind of effects we're having on the lake. we're always doing water samples. We've done water samples for the last 20 years since we started this farm and seen no appreciable difference on that. We're still waiting on the depot information, but the bottom sampling has been very positive in that we're seeing very little anaerobic activity right near the pens, which is a good sign. What it means is it's such a large reservoir, anything that we're putting into that lake is spreading out and getting, I don't know what the best word for it. It's not just sitting there and accumulating. This is our livelihood, and we want to continue to make this work in an environmentally sustainable way.
Can the waste be used as compost?
Absolutely. And so I think our next step is, we're shooting for zero waste on this for this farm. So you'll see later on how we're treating our guts and our trim from the processing plant and what we're doing with that. And I think our next step will be to be collecting a portion of, I don't think you'd ever get all of it, but a big portion of what's coming, what the fish poo and any small amounts of feed that are going, is collecting that and running that through for a compost also.
To take this type of program and put it on land, what you'll see on shore there, you would have to have 156 times that what is on land. So it's, when you hear, all farms should be put on to land, then you have to think, okay, what does that actually entail? Increasing of land space and usage, possible carbon footprint because of generation and such, versus using a lake system similar to this and being successful. All the testing that we're coming back with is proving that it's a positive. We're not doing a negative effect on the lake. All the natural species in the lake are doing well. So it's just something to think about. Just want you to be aware of, what does that mean when they say, let's put this on land. So these guys they're just about finished harvesting for today. They're pulling about 14,000 pounds of fish. And these guys started at 5 o'clock this morning. So then it enables us to go down to the plant at a reasonable time, be down there at noon. We can process these fish. If they need to go to Vancouver, then we're on that ferry at 5:30. So what they're doing here right now is pulling a seine. They're pulling it up, and as they pull it, then they're taking a portion of the fish that are in the pen here. So then they'll just suck the fish up through the pipe. There's no mechanical parts for the fish to be hit on or damaged on. It'll come into the tray, and then there's a pneumatic stunner there, which gives them a hit on the head, kills them, and then they slide down the table where there'll be 2 more people. They'll slit the gill and bleed them, and then slide into the totes where there's ice, fish, ice. They're all iced down, and then shuttled onto the other barge.
Typically, this net will come up like this. Any small holes, even a one mesher, even if one is broken, it's repaired. And you can see some of the repairs is just looking here. This is the best way to repair a net. No one else in the industry is doing it this way. And it's because we do it this way because you can actually see the net and get every hole, which is important to us. We don't want to lose fish. It's you don't want any out in the wild that are ours, and if we lose them, we don't get paid for them.
Fish come in from the outside, come into the plant, spill onto the dewatering table. So then blood and ice goes through the bars and is disposed of onto the table. The slit open, belly's cut open, the esophagus is cut, and the guts are taken out. They slit the kidney, and then it slides to the next table, and then they clean the kidney out, wash it all down, slides down, and then it gets weighed, enumerated, and then back into totes.
Building is it's for the processing of our waste material, and we have a waste stream that comes from mortalities that happen in the lake, or the mortalities that happen in the hatchery, or the trim from the fillets and also the guts from the primary processing. We can take that material and grind it all up and then acidify it and make it into an organic fertilizer that we use as a soil enhancement.
And the neat part is that these minute particles and in minute amounts make such a big difference where these farmers actually can prove that their whole soil is improving and they get less, they don't have to use the pesticides and they get extra growth. And it was kind of neat to go there and see that and talk to them and realize this is a real thing and they're really excited about it.
This one here is a boiler that runs on fish oil. And this is a product that we're developing ourselves. And we can heat either this building or this building using this. And this one is about 350,000 BTUs. So it's quite a bit less on volume, but you can always add more. But it seems to be adequate for what we're doing. It's meeting our needs to keep our temperatures. And so instead of burning motor oil, we're burning fish oil.
I think there's a whole controversy about farm salmon and farm products, and we're looking at a product that's sustainable and it's ocean-wise, and we'd like to feature it and sort of display it to the rest of the province, Canada, and the world eventually, that here's a product that can be used, is sustainable. They're leaving the lake, as far as we know, as pristine as it is now. And when they're finished in the future, it will be even cleaner than actually when they started.